And Tony is like a hardcore liberal.
Really?
Which I'm like he's like, you any Trumpers in this son of a bitch? And I'm definitely more partial to Trump than Biden.
Yeah. But it's like, you don't really, it ain't like it's a great selection.
No. It's a lose-lose.
It's a lose-lose. It really is.
It's a lose-lose selection.
I mean, I can't even believe that they have Biden, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, are you serious?
Yeah, he looked like he was melting on fucking stage.
Well, right. I'm like, dude, this guy's 90 years old. How can you even, like...
It should be illegal for him to be...
It 100% should be illegal. I was like, I just listened to some of the snippets of it last night, and I was like, holy shit, I feel smarter than the president of the United States.
It should be illegal for him to be in front of a camera.
Yes, and not to mention running a country.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was fun, though. Like, it's definitely entertaining. It's definitely fun. I'm sure they cleaned up on the fucking ratings.
Oh, yeah.
They're getting an argument about golf. Did you see that?
Yes. Dude,
that's crazy.
It is crazy, man. That's what I was saying.
What?
It's like they're not even on points that are like legitimately stuff that's environmental, like the whole country.
Yeah. And then Biden it out hard at a couple of points. Did you see?
Yeah, and they're like, did you see the one where he was like, I don't even know what he's
nursing
like,
home.
He's like, I don't even know what you said.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Good times in the
It's
neighborhood.
good times, man. Well, hey, welcome back to the Reckless CEO podcast. Got a new friend with me here, Josiah Myers. I've been fortunate enough to connect with you over the past few months, and we got some really, really exciting stuff that we're working on together. So we'll share
100%.
that as we go. But Josiah, thanks for coming in today, bro.
You bet, man. Anytime.
Dude,
Thanks for getting me souped up on the C4, dude.
Hey, you're welcome. That's what I do. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, you got to be tingling in the face and hands if you're going to come in this podcast studio, sweating.
Legally drugged up and fucking feeling good.
Nah, dude, it's we've actually been trying to get a C4 sponsorship. So C4, if you're out there listening, hook a brother up, dude. I got a whole fridge full of them. I got a whole roofing team that drinks 3 a day. So it's like, we were laughing. They're like, if they do a heat map of like the United States, they'd be like, what the hell is going on there in Columbus, Ohio with the C4 and Kratom?
What's the stuff that's going on? It's the niacin that makes you feel like you want to like...
Yeah, it's in
poison ivy in the
beta.
face.
It's like beta alanine too, I think is what it is.
Yeah, it definitely makes you feel like you need to do some shit.
Yeah, dude, it does, right? It's like sweating a little bit. I'm like, the bad part about it is...
That's a secret to Columbus Roofing Company?
Yeah, that's our fuel.
Really?
Yeah, that's it, dude. I tell everybody, like, you can't work here unless you drink 3
They have
C4s.
quotas both on like numbers and on how many of those you have to drink.
Yep, because it's like, I can get you on so many of them, you can't sit still. And there you go.
Okay.
But dude, Josiah, man, thanks for coming in again, bro. And so give us a little background on you, man. I know that you and I have had some conversations around, kind of where you're at today, but kind of catch the listeners up a little bit.
Yeah. So I'll start where it all began. I was actually a home birth in the middle of kind of near like Amish town.
Okay.
In Indiana, Warsaw, Indiana. My mom was like hipster before it was cool.
Really?
Yeah. So she had us eating like organic. Nobody knew what organic was in like the early 90s.
No.
And she was like one of the founding mothers of organic. And so I always joke with my friends, we were eating like cardboard flavored stuff. If it didn't taste like cardboard, my mom probably wouldn't buy it. And so she was always wanting like no Kraft macaroni and cheese, no Pop-Tarts, none of that. The only time we would ever eat that was on our birthdays.
Special occasion.
Like I had a cowboy party, I remember, and then I had an Aladdin themed party. And we were like going so nuts over like Kraft macaroni.
You're like, this is crazy.
And now I know that like that's the cheapest, shittiest thing that you can buy. It's
Yeah.
like 50 cents.
That's funny because it's the complete opposite of the way that I grew up, right? My mom and dad divorced when I was 2 years old. So like my dad was like a bachelor pad. My dad was 22 when he had me. My mom was 18. So it's like, yeah. But my dad would do chicken nugget dinner all the time. He's like, what do you want for dinner? 10-piece nugget. All right.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
That's it, but it's good because I ate so much of the bad shit growing up. Then once I got older and got into like bodybuilding and lifting and shit, I'm like, I don't eat sweets really anymore. Like I'm not a candy guy. It's like, I think because I had so much of it, it was just like, 100%. I'm good on that.
I think me too, but also different because then I started gaining an appreciation for the fact that my mom was like pioneering that lifestyle early on. But so I was born there. Moved to Detroit real quick, don't remember anything. Came to Columbus, actually in this area of Dublin, Sawmill. And then my dad built his house out in Sunbury, lived there.
Were your parents divorced?
They got divorced in high school.
Gotcha.
And that's honestly kind of what pioneered my socialism, not socialism in like a political way, but being a social guy. We started throwing just bangers at my dad's house.
I love that.
Yeah, like hundreds of people. Passed that trade on to my brother. He started throwing bangers at my dad's house. I went on to Ohio University. I was a social chair there, so continued to throw parties.
Yeah.
And then started my own company, Arriva.
Yeah.
Took that to 17 different cities. Got out of that.
And that was, what was Arriva again? I know you and I kind of talked about
tech
it.
lodging company.
Okay,
So like I started doing Airbnbs when there was less than 250
Airbnbs.
Here in the city. Now there's like 20,000+.
Yeah.
And so got in when the going was hot, kind of gold rush era of
Yeah.
Airbnb. And then got out this past December.
And so how'd you get out of Arriva? So you had Arriva, scaled it to 17 states, you said?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Just complete
Cities.
Transparency. Half of our investors weren't getting along with the other half.
Yep.
My dad was one of the folks. So it was basically me versus my dad, and then we had like crews of people.
Yeah.
And so we ended up having to just negotiate a deal out of it. And he was showing that he wanted to take over and like be the guy.
Yep.
And I was like, cool, you can be the guy. I'm going to go
do my next thing
to the West Coast for a month, do a little bit of shrooms and figure out what I need to do next.
Yeah.
And all signs pointed towards something with being a socialite and bringing people together. And so started Spilt Social. December, we would throw one-off events, parties here, parties there. And then slowly but surely, we realized there's a major need for young people specifically to get together in a social way, to talk about business, to talk about the arts, to talk about relationships, just being social with each other.
Yeah.
The market right now, if you look at social clubs and social gatherings and event gatherings, is dominated by old white men. The traditional model for social clubs is a country club, a bunch of old men hanging out, smoking cigars, drinking bourbon. There's a wide open market for people that are 20-something to 40-something that want to get together
and I think
do the same thing.
Yeah, and I think a big piece of that, too, is the, because there's also like the people that just want to do that to party.
Right.
And so it's kind of like you guys have to walk a kind of a fine line with that, too, because it's like you want to make sure you're attracting the people that are, some form of, affluential in the marketplace and getting people in. Because like I know me, I've thrown a bunch of parties too back in like obviously not as much as you guys have, but I did my first one in like 2020 at Callahan's. And
I remember.
So I've done a bunch of those, and but I didn't know anybody. For me, it was kind of like. It was like, how do I just get, like, I had friends that were bodybuilders. I had friends that were, faith-based. I had friends that were, this and that, real estate. And I'm like, how do I just bring, everybody together? And I brought in Greg Ford, who is the pastor at one church. Yeah. He spoke at it with me. So it was like the first event that I ever threw. Yeah, Greg came, he spoke to everybody. And
full-on sermon?
No, it wasn't a sermon. He was like, dude, he literally... Greg's a super cool dude, bro. He's all tatted and stuff.
No,
too,
yeah,
so he's
I've been to his church a few times.
Yeah, very laid back, and he came in and he came in, spoke to everybody. He was talking about like the four legs of a chair and how you got to be physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, intact. It's like a chair. If one leg is out, you're unbalanced, right? And so he was able to like take that message and like it wasn't churchy, it wasn't preachy, like it was just like a good speaker's speech. Yeah. And then he hung around with everybody, like while they were drinking and all that, went around, talked to everybody.
Does he drink?
No, he doesn't drink, no.
At all?
Not at all. Nope. And
even though the Bible says like they drink wine?
Yeah, none of it, dude. He don't take it. But so it's like, that's one thing that I've learned from these throwing events is like, you have to leverage other people's platforms.
Yeah, 100%.
You have to,
We definitely, so my thought when I started this business was cast a wide net. And then internally, our team, when we're having our weekly discussions and our stand-ups, we're going through our invite list and saying, who had a good conversation with this person, this person. And ultimately, what this will lead to is us having a really cool eclectic group of members. I want a background of, percentage of them coming from the arts, coming from the comedy scene, heavy hitters. There's a lot of great comedians here in Columbus. There's a lot of really great musicians in Columbus. There's a ton of amazing business people in Columbus. Yeah. So what we're doing as we're casting a wide net is finding that one or two from that event that really hit home with us. And then in September, we are going to bring everybody together and formally invite them to join our social club.
Yeah, I love that.
And then the fun really begins.
Yeah. And so kind of where you're at with it right now, I mean, what's like the pathway to monetization, I guess? Like, so when you're having these events, are you making money on the events? Is it more social?
So we're profitable right now.
Okay.
We have probably 4 different ways that we make money. If we throw a ticketed event, that's obviously make money from the tickets.
Yep.
We do oftentimes a bar revenue share with whatever venue that we're at, anywhere from 10 to 20%. Sponsorship revenue is another major piece of it.
Yep.
And then you talk about these like creative ways to make money. These auctions.
Yeah.
There's always like kind of one-off unique pieces of each event that will drive revenue, but those are kind of the 3 to 4 ways. And if you do it right and people come, you're always going to make money.
Yeah.
Where you get into a risky game with throwing events is if you've got a huge overhead for whatever
place.
reason. Yeah.
Yep.
Or if you're like, we never rent a venue. We only do a revenue share. And so if you're renting venues and then you're paying for all this food and paying for all the alcohol, like we're not doing that.
You're in the hole.
Yeah. We're doing it, what I would say, smart, because if you don't have to sink into the red, don't.
100%. 100%. Every event I've ever thrown, I lost money on.
Really?
Yeah. But I was never really doing it.
You weren't doing it for
right. I wasn't doing it for money. You know what I mean? So it's like I would always cover the cost of the spot.
You were doing it for leisure, not for sport.
100%. Yeah, exactly. And for me, it's like I use that as kind of a recruiting funnel, right? Because it's like I'm there. I got all of our guys there. You're talking to people. Like it almost is like an open forum for interviews that people don't even know they're doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the secret sauce to throwing events. Once you start throwing events, you don't have to sell.
No.
Like if you're a business, and this Reese Fields, one of my favorite homies in town, throws a high net worth business social club. And he had this epiphany when he was working for US Bank. He's like, screw these phone calls, screw these emails, screw this script. I'm just going to invite all these people together and see what happens.
Yeah.
And he would hit his numbers every time. And then he was like, wait, why don't I just do this for a living?
Yeah. Dang, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, and dude, I mean, you're speaking of Greg Ford, he told me something one day, and I was like, dude, it like embedded in me the rest of my life. And he said, man, Michael, all of your greatest resources are in your relationships.
100%.
Right? And he's like, if you can whatever you do through life, continue to maintain good relationships, connect with people, talk to people, and I even look at where I'm at today. It's like every single thing that happens, because I'm not I would much rather be in person, talk to somebody, build a relationship, have a conversation. Like that's much more my niche than door knocking. You know what I mean?
And if you're sharing those relationships, I've always found that in some way, shape, or form, not right now, not today, maybe not even next year, not 10 years, it always comes back to you if you have that mindset.
Yeah. No, it definitely does.
I was in a conversation with a chappy young lad from Ohio State this morning, and he was like, why do you do this? Like, if you have the mindset of giving, it's always going to come back to you. Yeah. But you need to make sure that you're not doing it to get that thing.
Yeah, 100%. So it's like
at the end of the day, like truly give.
Yeah, and it's like the law of reciprocity.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I think too many people think that if they give their resources, time, whatever to somebody, their thoughts are like, what am I giving to this person to get back from them? And it's like, that's not how the law works. The law is like, how can I could give you as much as I can, right? My time, energy, whatever it is. I can't expect that I'm going to get that back from you, but the universe is going to provide it probably in a different shell. You know what I mean? Exactly. Somebody else is going to bring you that value.
You can't trick the frequencies of the universe.
No, you can't. No, you really can't, bro. And that's the craziest thing, because there's so many times where I have a conversation with my girlfriend or one of the guys, and I'm like, well, if you do this, this will happen. Like, well, how do you know that? And I'm like, that's just the way the universe works. I don't know. I didn't write the script.
I didn't write the laws.
Right. That's just the way that it works. And it's paid off for me every time. You know what I mean? It's like I look at even where we're at in business today. It's like I never had installed a roof before. I never, inspected. Like I knew nothing about roofing, but I knew people.
Exactly.
Right. And so it was like I knew that I could build relationships. I knew that I had the ability to lead people. But I had to make sure that, I was doing everything with the right intentions and doing that. But it was like our business has grown because I've been able to connect with this person, just connecting with us. we will make money together.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and it didn't start by like, hey, Mike, what can you do for me? Or like, Josiah, what can you do? You know what I mean? It was more like, hey, maybe this is something that if you'd be open to entertain it, I would too. I think it could be mutually beneficial. Like, that's 100%. Huge.
Have you ever been at a point in your life where you were more of like taking from the universe or like trying to take more than you were giving?
Yeah, I would say because
did you notice a difference in like how shit was going down for you?
Oh yeah. So when hockey ended for me and I moved back home, this would have been 2020. I got a house back in Wheeling, and I was in the coal mines for a little bit. Got out of the coal mines, got into the gas industry. So I was an operator technician at a gas plant. But like I was not who I am today by any means, right? This was 8 years ago. And, but everything to me, it was like, I feel like I was like victim mindset because like I put all this time and energy into hockey and got hurt and like lost everything. So I was like already mad, right? Then my uncle got diagnosed with brain cancer. I'm like, God, why did you do this? Best guy I ever knew. You know what I mean? So it's like I saw myself like sinking into this version of me that it was like, poor me. All this time, all this energy ripped out from under me. My uncle, one of the greatest men I've ever known, a death sentence. And, I can look back at that time and I'm like, dude, I was not giving. I wasn't, but I think a lot of that too comes from so much of like development.
Yeah.
Right. Because like until you can get
yourself with,
right, man. And you just change your mindset because it's like now, and I see guys that come into our industry now, it's like, our business, our company, and it's like, I try to tell them sometimes like, listen, man, like I promise you the more that you give to people, the more that you will get. Yeah. I know it feels counterintuitive because like you're spending time not doing the thing that's generating you money, but like that's what leadership is. Leadership isn't like, that's the difference between sales and leadership, right? Sales, you go sell something, you get that instant gratification, you lock the contract up, see the money come in, collect a check. Leadership, I could invest a shit ton of time into people. That doesn't mean I'm going to get an ROI.
Right.
I could get nothing from them. I could waste my time.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the game. I don't invest, like it's really for me, it's selfish because I get so much fulfillment from helping.
Yeah.
Right. I texted my mentor last night after I bought the vet, and I told him, I said, I took all the guys for rides. I let the guys take it out. They're driving it.
For a second, because I'm not like good on like car lingo. I thought that you were talking about like you've bought a vet.
Like veterinarian
clinic.
Nah, Corvette.
I was like, when did I miss that conversation?
So I bought the Corvette, and it's actually the first time in my life I've owned two vehicles, which is pretty cool. I got a truck and a car now. That's a big win. And a house, fucking moving up, dude. But anyways, I let all the guys take it. I took them for rides, and yesterday was like one of the most like just surreal feelings because it was like I remember like driving down the interstate and looking over at the guys and like I bet their face hurt because they were fucking smiling so much. Like, you know what I mean? Like I got so much enjoyment from being like, dude, I love to just be able to be that person that like exposes somebody to something and give them that, there's more. I have more enjoyment like riding my friends around in the car than I even enjoy the car itself because it's like I just love to expose.
Were you smiling ear to ear?
Oh, bro, he was still smiling this morning. Dude, it was awesome, man.
You were half chubbed?
Bro, I was more than that, bro. All of a sudden I was drunk.
He's like, I got to drink to this.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man. So, and that's the, like, I think that's with leadership is like you transition because that, when you're feeling like a taker, most of that derives from this like scarcity mindset that if I'm giving something up, I'm not going to get.
Yeah.
Right. And it's
really fear-based.
It is, man.
Yeah, not abundance-based.
You don't want to see people win. And it's like, that's your energy. That's your vibration. It's like that shit radiates.
Yeah. What do you think? So you said that you had a victim mindset. Do you think that is the number one worst mindset to have as a human? Or what do you think like the things to not be mentally are?
Victim mindset, I would say.
That's number one by far.
I think so. And I think entitlement.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of people out there but the hard part about it is like
those are almost like yin and yang to each other.
Yes, 100%.
And same mindset, but like flipped.
Yeah. And the hard part about it is that, I always look at everything from trying to be like, what's their perspective, right? And with today's society and the agendas and like all of these things that we're constantly consuming and that's sitting in front of us, like if you don't have, you know, a pivotal leader or pivotal somebody in your life that's a role model for you that you can kind of, you know, have a, you know, non-biased conversation of like, where am I at? Where are you at? Where do I want to be? Like, if you can't have that, then, you know, I would assume that I would probably be the same way as somebody that's a victim and entitlement mindset, because that's the playbook that really they know. And then I don't think that people do enough like self-discovery to like transcend out of that.
Well, you know what the problem is, dude, is when you start to get a non-victim mindset, those people end up being the most annoying people ever.
Yeah.
And like, but that's where I'd get to test my patience and like grow in that area for me. But bro, I can't. Victim mindset leads to excuse-making individuals. They don't ever want to find the fucking solution to the problem. They just want to talk about
100%.
the obstacle that they didn't get over.
Right, and then how it's not their fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like...
Do you find, like, as you grow, do you find yourself getting more and more annoyed with victim mindset people? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, but I've also done a good job of, like, not putting those types of people around me. Right? Like, I'm a very, like... The more that, you know, you get to know me, I'm very, like, head in the clouds... like rainbows and butterflies.
What about like your customers?
Yeah, but I think that's the same thing too. It's like, I think that's what makes like a great culture repels and attracts, right? So I think that's what's so important about building a good brand and building a good culture in your company is that anyone that we really facilitate and work with, like, because they know what they're getting already. They know what the expectation is. They know what that standard is going to be. Like, our guys show up and act a certain way. We portray ourselves as that. We live that. And so I feel like I've gotten less of those types of people around because those types of people don't want to be around those guys.
Do you do anything to vet, like, those sort of, like, shitty customers out on the front end?
Yeah, I mean, I just tell all the guys, like, from the second you book an inspection or go file a claim or, like, walk through that process, like, you can tell how somebody's going to be. You know what I mean? It's like, and I tell them all the time, like, dude, I promise you, you know, you can go spend your time on that and spin your wheels on it. Here's how it's going to work out.
Yeah.
And if they're already bitching and complaining when we're here, if things don't go perfectly through the process, you're gonna be stuck with that.
What do they bitch and complain about usually?
I mean, I just think no, it's not even the price. No, it's a lot of times it's just like. You know, basically they put the blame on us if they get a denial, right? Or it's like little things like that, or like, oh, you said that it was going to be like this, and now it's like this, and you know, I didn't know I had a ACV policy versus an RCV policy, and you know, all of these little things. So it's more or less like they try to find, like, those types of people will go into a transaction looking for the ways that they can get the most out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so different. You said, like, a person has that same mindset that goes to a restaurant.
Yeah.
They're always the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's something wrong with the food, and there's something wrong with this, and it wasn't cooked right, and they're impatient, and it's like all of those things. It's like those people, they resonate. They're bad energy.
Yeah.
And I think if you're a person that has good energy, as soon as you come across that, I'm like, guys, don't even worry about it. There's so many people out there, and I think, you know, just like you're talking about, kind of casting that wide net, right? Because there's obviously a lot of people that have that mindset, but I still believe that most people are good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in my heart, I still, like, I want that. I'm never going to, you know, approach a new conversation or a new relationship with the mindset of like, oh, they're this way. Because then I'm already like tainting the lens that I'm seeing them through. If that's the, you know, in my mind, every conversation, every meeting with somebody, I'm like, I try to always think of the good.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
100%, man. You know, and you kind of have to, man. You've got to learn to, like, build the moat around you, you know, and that's where I'll have people that, literally all of my employees know that if they are bitching and complaining and, you know, all of these things, I always say, you know, no one's allowed to sad dog around me, right? I'm like, dude, if you're fucking sad dogging, pouting, get the fuck away from me. And it's honest, because it's like, I don't have time to, like, even put that to the level that I want to get to and where I want to be and what we're building. I don't have time to be dealing with negativity.
Yeah.
Because you can't change most of the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, how much of, like, what are you? I love Marcus Aurelius. I don't know if you ever read his like meditations by Marcus.
I'm a philosophy minor.
Oh, really?
I'm a big Stoic.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, you know, I love him. He talks about it is the it's the power circle, maybe, or circle of power, which is essentially the only things that you can control is your mindset.
Exactly.
You know, how you think about things, how you approach things.
It's not
And
what
like,
happened. It's what happened to your mind.
100%, dude. Dude, share a little bit about going through that shit, because I love philosophy.
I mean, so I was business pre-law major, and you had a few different options to choose from. And I don't know. When I was a kid, I was always like, so like thinking in my head about like what the hell is life.
Yeah.
In my bed, and I would like go to my parents and be like, why are we here? Like, type shit. Honestly, so where it comes from is my grandpa. He was a New York Times best-selling author, dean of the communications school at Bowling Green.
Yeah.
And super philosophical dude. Wrote a bunch of books specifically on dictation and how to get what you want out of life.
Yeah.
And so I saw him growing up, and he had all these different sayings he would use against us. Like one of the ones that would always stand out to me is always ask for better treatment. He would kind of take things from the Bible, I feel like, because the Bible says like, ask and you'll receive. And so he had these little coined sayings, and he ran a class that, I kid you not, 3 people I've met across my life, I met randomly and found out that they were
part
in
of
this
that
class. And they started crying. Every last one of them. They're like, that was the best class I've ever been to in my life. He'd make his students go in front of the class and tell the entire class why they're great. Wow. And he was just a profoundly great, stoic philosopher.
I love that.
That did a lot of really cool things with his career.
That is awesome.
And then if you go on my dad's side of the family, he's very much that way too. Very philosophical. So then,
so that's on your mom's side?
That's on my mom's side, yeah. And then my dad's side, he's got the same thing. You can't ever send like a sentence text. It's got to be a whole
thing.
Here's the beginning, here's the intro, here's the body,
yeah,
and here's the end.
Yeah, I love that, dude. Well, and I think that, I think that it's just so powerful to be able to reading and studying like philosophy and like stoicism to me was it slows it. I feel like it slows life down.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
because
is necessary
and if you read, Marcus Aurelius stuff, it's like, dude, his shit was old.
Yeah.
I mean, that you're talking.
But it's still so relevant.
So relevant. Like you read it and you're like, holy shit, I feel that same way.
I listened to Ryan Holiday yesterday or 2 days ago, and he was talking about Marcus Aurelius in Instagram post, and he was talking about how like he didn't like people. Yeah. He didn't like them. Like he knew that like we were meant to be joined together. Yeah. And just talking through all these struggles. Because I do, as I get more exposed to deeper philosophy and more knowledgeable and feel like I'm doing better with my own mentality, I get more and more annoyed by people who are just so dumb. Right. But then that's where you have to practice patience. Exactly. You know what I mean? And I think that that's such a powerful thing. Like I tell our people all the time, right? They're like, oh man, like I'm trying to, so often we get frustrated when people don't see things our way, because it's like we always want to, like the golden rule, right? The treat people the way that you want to be treated. I heard of something the other day, they called it the platinum rule, which is treat others the way that they want to be treated. You just heard of that the other day? Platinum rule? Never heard of it before. Really? Yeah, I swear to God. That was the first. I was like, oh shit. I was like reading a book and that was in there. And I'm like, dude, that's fucking cool. Damn. And like, but what I like about that is just like, so often we want to coach people on how we need to be coached. Yeah. So often we want to lead people on how we want to be led. And I think, as a good leader, you have to adapt. And like, that's the difference, right? It's like people will follow you if they feel inspired by you and they feel like you listen to them and you hear them and understand them. And so many people don't shut the fuck up enough to actually listen to somebody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because a lot of that stems from their insecurities. That's by far my biggest impatience with people. 100%. If you don't stop, like I have this one buddy who always brings these girls around who'd never stop talking the whole time. Like it doesn't matter who you put in front of them, they're talking the whole damn time. And eventually I told the dude, I was like, can you not invite me to hang out if you have one of your girls here? Yeah. It's literally like nobody wants to be talked at for 30 minutes, especially if you don't know them. 100%. My homie, maybe. If he's going through some shit. Yeah. Well, and I think that needs to let one off. Well, and that's where the insecurity stem from, right? Because people that are insecure a lot of times, not all the time, but insecure, they don't allow for the space and time for you to like judge them. Right.
You know what I mean? So
They need
they're
to
like
control the whole thing.
100%. So like they just what they need to talk. They need the affirmation. They need to like because they know that like that silence could.
There's an opportunity for them to be exploited. Yeah.
Yep, exactly right. And so I think that like
That's a good insight.
yeah. Save that one. But no, man, and it's like that's what I love about the philosophy kind of stuff is that like it just forces you to start to just understand people because really at the end of the day, like business is simple, people are difficult.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like because business is like it's just an organism. It's you know what I mean? It's like it needs to be fed. It needs to be right. It needs to go through all of those things.
Million variables.
That's it. But that never changes. It's like marketing, operations, sales, and service. Right? It's like that. No matter what you do, that's what a business is.
Yeah.
So it's like the idea and the concept of business is very simple, but it's being able to then get a collective group of people to all be doing that same thing. That's the difficulty comes in.
Yeah. That's the reason why 9 out of 10 businesses don't get past the very first year.
That's it, right? And it's because, and I think a lot of that too is that most, because we get into this development thing of giving to people, reciprocity. Most businesses starve because the CEOs or the owners or the founders bleed the company.
Yeah.
I didn't pay myself for 2.5 years, almost 3 years when I started Columbus Roofing Company. Now I paid myself a small salary, but like I was never taking money from it because it was like, okay, I could put that $5,000 in my pocket, or I could go hire this person and then delegate it, and that person might be able to make me 10.
Yeah.
All right, I could put that 10 in my pocket, or I could take that 5 and go put that here, and then it's like because so many people don't see the big vision of it.
But also too, I learned in Arriva, I would always keep my salary super low because it was like, and this is maybe like selfish, it was good leverage.
Yeah.
To any like employee.
100%.
Like, hey, I'm only making this much. Can you like help me out on
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. And it's true though. You know what I mean? And it really is because it's, so many, because the thing is most people aren't actually good, authentic people. Like as much as I want to say, I think all people are good, they're not, you know what I mean? And so I think you need to approach every relationship as if they are, but also be black and white enough to know that that's not how they think. So it's like when people, like most people have been taken advantage of, most people have been lied to, most people have lost trust in people, like all of these things that they've gone through. And we have to understand as leaders that it's like, okay, I have to decipher through all of these emotions and all of these experiences.
What percentage of people do you think are truly authentic? And also, have you heard that saying that the frequency of authenticity is like 10 times the strength of the frequency of love?
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't hear that.
Joe
I'm writing that one
Dispenza.
down too. I love Joe Dispenza.
He said that, which to me is like why it's so important to be exactly who I am and not lie about that and not try to change who I am or try to change a marketing approach or a conversation. Like I know that in life I'm going to rub some people the wrong way.
Yeah.
I just know that about myself.
You're not for everybody.
Doesn't mean I want to be an asshole. Actually, I got into a kind of heated exchange with one of my friends who's a girl who we had some romance associated with each other at one point.
Entanglement.
And she was like giving me shit because I kissed this dude on the hand at the memorial. And I had a few drinks in me. And the point that I made to her that like it rubbed me the wrong way to her, but it's like in the moment, of course, I apologize. Like, hey, I didn't mean to make you feel weird.
Yeah.
But did I have vengeance in my heart?
No.
Did I have hostility in my heart?
No.
Was I trying to be violent? No. I'm just a weird guy like that sometimes.
Yeah.
And like you gotta kind of like let me be that guy.
Let you be it. Right.
Yeah, and like not like scold me for like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And like make me feel like I need to be in timeout and shit.
Yeah. Well, and again, like,
and that's part of me being authentic. Like for every time that I've made someone mad by kissing them on the hand, there's another 3 times where I did the same thing, and now those people are my best friends.
Yeah.
Or they're my clients, or they're like, wait, this guy kind of moves
cool.
a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think you have to have that, bro. It's like you're 100% right. You've got to, and I think that's one of the reasons that we've been able to build what we've built here, right? Is because I feel like I'm a pretty authentic guy. You know what I mean? I'm pretty cut and dry. It's like you got my back, I got your back. Like I'm the kind of guy where it's like I will believe you, I will trust you, I will give you everything I have until you show me that you're not that person.
Yeah.
When that happens, I got no problem cutting you off because it's like I don't have time for it, and it's like I only
you have
want
to treat them different if they betray it.
100%.
Otherwise, you're kind of dumb.
You're enabling it. Well, you enable it, and it allows it to keep happening and keep happening and keep happening, right?
And
it's
it creates a victim mindset of like, why does this keep on happening to me?
Yes.
Because you're not fucking changing the pattern.
Yes, dude. And then that ties all back into philosophy. You know what I mean? It's all of those things of just, and I think that's the, even in business, right? It's like 90% of business is mindset. 10% of it is business.
Yeah.
How are you showing up? How are you thinking? When you get kicked, how long do you stay down? What can you control? What's on you? And it's like, and I think the struggle for most people is that they are so used to being reactive. So it's like something happens, respond. Something happens, respond. It's like the best leadership is proactive leadership. So it's like, okay, rather than saying, all right, this keeps happening on a job. This is an issue. This is an issue. Like rather than me responding to that issue every time, I have to pull myself back and say, like, what's downstream of that?
Right.
Because
What's
there's
at the
something
core,
here that's creating that. And it's usually the problem is the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is just
fucking symptom.
It's the symptom of it, 100%, right? And so you have to like look, and then you have to, a lot of times too, that's the hard part of running the business, being the leader, is that when things go bad, it's your fault.
It's like going on a run and then having to, while you're on a run, check what is broken and then go fix it and get the gauze and get all the shit while you're continuing to run.
Yeah, no, it is, dude. As I always say too, it's like as a leader, it's extreme ownership, right? You have to have that lens. And now not everything can be tied to extreme ownership, but at the end of the day, if that's what you look at through of, it's like, okay, could I have done something differently? Could I have given them a better SOP? Could I have done something so that this wouldn't happen? Because at the end of the day, it is on me. I can want people to think differently and assume differently, but unless they're trained to do that or they think like that, they're not going to do it, right? And it's
that's
like
where, for me, the nights and weekends come in and are so important because during the day you're running, right? You're running the business. Mm-hmm. You're sprinting. You're doing the fucking workout. And then at night, that's when you get a chance to be like, okay, let me open this up, be a doctor, and see why this thing broke down. I had a guy that I was meeting with for lunch that was telling me how like he misses kind of his old lifestyle because he was making $200K and working 25 hours a week, and he's like, he just did a deal with his buddy that happens to be my buddy, acquisition of some sort in the staffing space, and he's like, dude, I just feel like all I do is work now. I'm like, he's like, how do you do it? How do you handle that? I'm like, I don't handle that. I'm like, bro, I'm just living life. Like
it's a lifestyle.
I took the time to realize what I actually want to do, and now I just naturally do it.
Yes.
There is no like, wait, now I got to go to work.
Nah, dude, I love that. I love that, bro.
Do this.
No, it's true, man. It's like, because we've all worked jobs, like, so like we all try to fit into this box that society tells us how we should be, what we're supposed to do, and they put these blinders on you so that you never, the people that can break out of that cycle. And, that's where I'm at now today. Like I was talking to a couple guys yesterday and, we've having some conversations with some private equity funds about, an acquisition with CRC and, and they're like, what would you do if you sold your business today? And I said, well, I'll be honest with you. Like I ain't selling the whole thing. Like I'd be cool with selling some equity in it and a portion of it. But at the end of the day, like I don't want to do anything else but this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got like my people that work with me are my best friends. Like that's my family too, you know? And it's like, there's never a time that I'm like, fuck, dude. Like I remember when I had to go in on midnights back in the day and like, I'd be miserable. All my friends would be out hanging out, partying. I'd go have 2 or 3 drinks with them and then have to go work a 12-hour shift.
Right.
I hated that. That was fucking work. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't care what life looks like for me now. After doing all of that, I could be struggling, failing, but it's like I get to decide now.
Exactly. I think the sign that you're doing the thing that you should be doing in life or that you're close to is that everything starts kind of melting together. It's like all of the personal parts of your life and all the business parts, like it no longer has to become this thing of like I need to segment off my business from my family, from this and that, and I need to put these people here and there. It's just everything kind of cohesively starts to make sense and melt together.
100%. No, I love that. It's like you have to, and I think
it seems like you're the same sort of guy.
100%. I mean, my friend, like guys that work for me, are pretty much at my house every day. You know what I mean? It's like I'll get home and there'll be 10 people sitting on my patio doing their stuff. You know what I mean?
The reason why people segment their lives like that is because they're not being honest with themselves.
That's true.
They don't want these people to think anything about them in the light of their business. They don't want the business people thinking anything in the light of their family.
Yeah, they don't want to commingle their personal
Comes
relationships.
down to dishonesty.
It does, 100%. No, I couldn't agree more on that, man. And you have to get it all together.
Speaking of honesty and charity and all those sorts of things, you gotta give a little information on
Yeah, because we only got like
nonprofit.
15 minutes left here before we got to bounce you off. But yeah, so August 1st, we'll say August 1st, right? Is kind of what we're going with. It could
August 1st.
tentatively change, but August 1st, it's a Thursday. We are going to be partnering with you guys at Spilt Social, and we're going to be having Foster the Future and Columbus Roofing Company. We're going to be having a networking event fundraiser. And
It's gonna be one of the most, and we just kind of invented it right here, which is the cool part.
Yeah.
We are going to, and I've never seen anyone do this at a Columbus downtown event in the 23 to, we'll call it 50 bracket. We'll have an auctioneer. We're gonna have live music. We are going to have auctioneer of specifically bourbon.
Yep.
Bourbon tastings. I'm sure we'll get some interesting bourbon companies in. Cigars. Can't forget that part.
Can't forget that.
I'm sure we'll have our beautiful girlfriends and lady friends and all of those in attendance too.
Yep.
Maybe dress a little.
Yeah, it'll be a
feng shui,
little. Yep.
Have a little swagger to
Have a little swagger to
what
you.
we're wearing.
Yeah, and I mean, I did the last Foster Future event that I did in December. We raised $17,000.
Hell yeah.
Is what we raised. Then that money, the kids came into here. I got them Rich Dad Poor Dad book. I walked them through their business plan, these foster kids, and that was an incredible experience, right? And so this one, right, really is going to be kind of the runner up to then October 11th is the big like end of the year Foster the Future event. But this August 1st one is kind of going to be the.
So did you do 17K at this event last year?
Yeah, the December one.
Then we got to beat 17.
We have to beat it, yeah. And I did that shit by myself, so I didn't have the whole team that we're going to have with this now, you know what I mean? And then we're also going to be announcing that we have partnered with GAF, which is a shingle manufacturer. They're going to be partnering with us on donating a roof to a local foster family. So that's going to be huge, man. So we're going to announce
and
basically.
then Packline too. Other plugs. He's definitely said he wants to come in on it.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yep.
Reese Fields. We're having our second conversation with him. I've never had two conversations with him in 1 week ever. So I think he's interested.
Yeah, no, dude, it's huge, man. And, that's what got me, so excited about the conversation that we had, because it's like, I love to do the events and bring people together, but I don't have the time or the capacity to be focused on it. You know what I mean? So that's what got me excited with working with you, because I'm like, I can still do what I'm doing. I can share, I can get people there, and then I can have support and help on facilitating it.
100%.
Because that's where I drop the ball, because then it's like a day of it, I'm like,
Dude, it's a lot of.
It is, dude. It's a ton.
It's a lot of little moving. Our team, we just had our first 2 week, I don't want to say break, but lull in the action to where we can now focus and okay, have these meetings about what's working, what's not, what are we actually going to do with our membership program, how dialed are we on the fitness events, because for a while, and our internal team would talk about this, hey, we're having too many purely social events.
Yeah.
But strategically, I wanted to do that because I wanted to
build a presence,
market and collaborate with all of the most popular venues in town.
Yep.
And kind of get their following.
Yep.
Going. And so strategically, we needed to do that. But now it's time for us to really dial in what it is that we want to attract.
Yeah.
Which is well-rounded people that have interests in multiple different things. So we did our first fitness event, Crunch and Brunch on the rooftop. It's the first.
I saw that. That was sick.
Rooftop workout that's probably ever been done
in
Columbus. Fantastic feedback from the event. We're definitely going to do it again. We're going to be launching our first arts event, which will be Columbus Comedy Festival. It'll be an official after party with those guys. We'll probably do over 1,000 people in attendance for that. And then we'll continue to have monthly comedy shows. We are opening up Spilt Sounds, which will be a DJ collective that's tailored more towards clean cut DJ sounds.
Yep.
Like the Dom Dalla, who's the dude that just played? John Summit.
Yep.
Those sorts of guys. I am not a big fan of the late night DJ scene, the grungy, have you showered sort of DJ scene. I don't want to see all of your pupils all at once.
Right. That's true.
So we're gonna be opening up the first DJ collective that will start at 9:00.
Yeah.
And will be normal hours, and will be songs that you hear out, in
Dude, it's sick.
at Town Hall and Mandrake.
Yeah.
So excited about that.
No, dude, that's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
and then business too. This event obviously kind of falls in the line of business, but we're putting together with Hilton 1,000+ person event. There'll be a business bar crawl. We want to get
That's
out
sweet.
the young, the wise, the startup, the corporations, and bring them all together in like a really creative way.
No, dude, I think what you guys are doing, bro, is awesome for the city, and you guys are doing it with good intentions too, which is that's hard to find, right? It's the authenticity of it. Like you genuinely enjoy doing it. You like to bring people in. Like you're in your genius zone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a really cool thing to watch and see as well. And so, dude, I'm super, super pumped up, man. I can't wait. We'll have another pod whenever we're getting closer to it. We can do a little push on it. You know what I mean? But this is great. I'm glad you got to come in today.
100%.
Kind of get into this stuff. I know you got to bounce. I got to bounce too. I'm going to go play some golf today.
Let's go, baby.
So I'm excited for that.
We got to get out on the golf green sometime.
Are you a golfer?
A little bit. I suck. Like,
Yeah, I suck too.
You golf all the time, though. So you're
but I'm not good. I'm not very good. But it's exciting, man.
I'm not like I'm probably the Joe Biden. You're probably the in this duo.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense, dude. That makes sense. No, man, dude, Josiah, I appreciate you coming in today, dude. I'm looking forward to what we got coming up, man. It's going to be an awesome thing. If you're listening to this, stand by. We got some announcements coming. Also, I'm going to be opening up the Reckless group, which is a community for entrepreneurs, really kind of hyper-focused on home service CEOs. It is gonna be a paid monthly subscription kind of community, but I'm looking for, again, home service CEOs, people that are wanting to, come together and not only build their businesses, but like help to build each other and build those things. And so if that's something that you're interested in, we'll have that in the show notes, the link to that, or you can go to therecklessgroup.com. But man, until next time, brother, I'm excited, dude. We will see you guys.
See ya. Thanks, man.